Hello everyone, it's Caribbean E and Tina.
Hello.
Welcome to the channel. Hope everybody's just having a marvelous and a wonderful day and that you find yourself in the best of health.
Yes, and health always being most important.
Today's video is going to be a subject that we normally don't cover, and a lot of other YouTubers don't cover it neither. This is what you all need to consider when moving to another country, another location. And that is, what is the weather all about?
Yeah, I think a lot of us get, like I said, caught up in watching everything about a subject, but we forget that safety, as far as in the storms coming and the disaster that it could or could not cause, is a very important factor when you're choosing where you want to live. The Dominican island is a very big island. Puerto Rico, big, not as big, but big. And you need to really pay attention to where you're going to be living when it comes to storms, devastation, cyclones, hurricanes, because everybody gets it in the Caribbean. You get all of it sooner or later. Your property damage and your life shelters.
Right, absolutely.
So that's what we're going to do, because I said to you, I was like, wow, it's something that you don't think about until it happens, then it's too late.
Got that right. Very important.
And
Very important.
We're saying this because we just had Tropical Storm Laura pass through.
And not just that, Tina, but also prior to us moving here to the Dominican Republic, people was fearful about us moving here because they kept saying, well, aren't you guys afraid of the weather? Well, aren't you guys, don't you know
you're going to lose everything.
You can lose everything. You can even lose your life. Oh, there's hurricanes are coming. All these things. And I don't know, it was kind of like frightening tactics or whatever it is. And they use those words to warn us, maybe Dominican Republic or anywhere in the Caribbean is not a good place to go.
Right. But I have looked up some of this before because being from, or having family from Puerto Rico, I always worry because Puerto Rico kind of doesn't have anything to shield it. It's always because when the path of those storms are coming from the east, they get belted first. So my concern was, if we do move to Puerto Rico, what part of that island were we going to live on where we didn't get, any loss of property or our lives.
Right.
So I took the same approach when looking at the Dominican Republic. Now, we have now gotten some of the figures because honestly, it only just passed us this weekend. So supposedly we've only had one or two, I think it was reported deaths in the Dominican Republic. I don't even know honestly what the count right now is in Puerto Rico because I didn't read this morning, but due to a storm. So I'm just going off that. But honestly, the reason we chose Santiago is because it's centrally located. We're not on a coast. When you're going to live in either the north, the south, or the east coast, you're in the path of the storm. Because as we saw with Laura, it moved all the time. Like how many times were you watching the news and you were like, it's coming this way, and then it wouldn't. It's going that way. Oh, now it's not. Yeah,
well, the forecast, all they could do is just really give an estimate
of which way,
guesstimate of which way it's going to go. So that's all they can do.
Yeah. So sometimes we get mesmerized by those beautiful beaches. We want to live by the beach, on the beach, near the beach, walking distance to a beach. But remember, with that
comes devastation. If you get a typhoon, a Cat 1, 2, 3, 4, or even a 5.
Even with a tropical storm, because the waters come in, and you guys have been there. The ones that haven't don't know, but the ones that have been there, there's no barrier. In Santo Domingo, there's some wall and sheer cliffs, so you have kind of something that's going to absorb before it gets into the Malecon. But in Puerto Plata, boom, it's coming right in.
It's coming right in,
some parts of Punta Cana, it's coming right in. I mean, they can, try to offset into the land, the resorts. But some of those home, like what do they call those, like villas and all that are right there that people really want to be on the edge of the water.
Right,
dude, what's protecting you? So, all right. So I think to get a good gauge, you always have to look at the past to determine the future, which of course no one can guarantee, because the future we know is not been the same ever since the change in the weather, the way that the planet is with the green and the this and that. You never know how the weather's going to react, how violent it's going to be, or how laid back it's going to be.
Right.
But you can at least kind of try. So, to look back is the best way I see. When you look at the cyclone, so let's start with the big daddy, which that would be what I would call the cyclone. That's the big daddy that will cause the most turmoil to the land. That usually here, they said they get one serious one every 5 to 6 years. So luckily, the last one that passed was because of, what was the one in Maria? But it missed the DR completely.
Right.
So
Right.
thank you, God, for that one.
Jesus.
But the most active months for the cyclone, so I took a few notes and you see me looking down a little bit, they are from August through September.
Right.
So those are the months you kind of...
Hurricane season.
Yeah.
What you got to watch out for when you make your
Well,
travel.
cyclones. These are cyclones.
Right.
Hurricanes different.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Because doesn't cyclone, am I wrong, but doesn't cyclones cause more like damage to the construction than a hurricane?
I'm not really sure, but I know what hurricanes can do because I've seen them.
Yeah. So hurricane
Wow.
season, now that he's talking, he brought that up, that was my next point. Hurricane season is from June to the end of November. That's a significant amount of time.
Shoo, man. That's a long time. And I
6
know
months.
6 months.
That's half a year.
And by then you'll be already here in Punta Cana at your resort with a drink in your hand, having a good time, but it's still hurricane season.
Yeah, that's a
Wow.
6 months to me is
Wow.
a long time out of the year to wonder and worry about adverse weather conditions. So that is something that if you know you're going to live out here, you want to relocate because of that long period of a time where we know we've been here, we've gotten a lot of rain because we get like I say, the after effects. So we get the rain and the wind. But I say to you, I was like, man, I can't even imagine being on the coast right now.
Oh my God.
Like,
oh my God.
there's days where on our
Jesus.
patio, it's blown the freaking cushions
Yep.
and the cover on the grill. And I'm like, let's go get all that stuff and bring it in because, my God, it'd be in somebody's yard
Or down the street.
a mile away. I'll never see that again. So then you have, so if we're going cyclone, hurricane, now we're in tropical storms. Tropical storms what just passed.
Right.
Tropical storm Laura
Laura.
just passed, right? That one gets winds up to 39 to 73 miles an hour. So that's what just passed.
Wow.
And that hit the north and the south for here. And the east, honestly, because they said it hit Punta Cana, went through a little bit, the after effects of when it hit Punta Cana will always affect Santo Domingo. So whatever happens on that east coast always affects Santo Domingo.
Right.
And then north coast is what kind of affects us. So then the north coast got it, rain-wise and wind-wise. They got the brunt of the wind. And then if you guys saw our video that we did on the tropical storm, you'll see we got rain. It got a little hard. That is not the hardest I've seen it rain out here.
Right,
so I don't
absolutely.
think we got that much of it. We got wind, and the wind was pretty, I would say it picked up a little. At least, when you say those were like 10 to 12 miles an hour wind.
I'll say maybe 21, 22 miles
You think
an
it
hour.
got, at 4 in the morning.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
absolutely,
agree at 4 in the
absolutely.
morning. But during the day, it was about 10, 12 because you were outside and able to video.
Right, absolutely,
So-
absolutely. And
Yeah.
you guys seen the trees, you seen how it was moving, and it's like, you know, a really like you can. I mean, it's like it's a real storm, and you can hear it just hitting those palm trees like it's nobody's business. Now I know some areas, even in this city, there's some trees that went down.
Yeah, and so then that is a tropical storm. Underneath that, where winds don't even get up, they don't get past 35 miles an hour, that's a tropical depression, which is what they first said we were going to get. But the tropical depression quickly changed into a tropical storm because it picked up in strength, the winds picked up, the rain picked up. So that's why I say, I mean, yeah, they could tell you something's coming or you're not even thinking to prepare. You've moved out here, you got all your stuff out here, and then all of a sudden you hear the words tropical depression. I didn't know what that was. Tropical storm. You hear hurricane, you know, from the States, you know, hurricane and cyclone. You're like, oh my God. So it's always good to look at where you're at. Look at the history. How many of these storms have actually hit and caused devastation? how many times do they get it in that section a year, you know, like where they have to actually batter down the hatches. We didn't know how bad it was going to be. So our first year, remember when like Marie and all that, or I'm sorry, the other one that came last year, we had a video, right? Where we went and stocked up because we didn't know how long or how bad.
Right, absolutely. We really did. And we just prepared ourselves, got some food, just like we did for this storm here. You know, just to make sure.
Right.
You know, but that's like she was saying, the history tells it all, because it seems like this island is blessed, has been blessed.
You know it.
I mean, I'm telling you, like, God is just holding this island up, and because we got the most mountains here in the whole Caribbean.
Yeah.
So it's like those mountains just protect us and cover us, while everybody else is getting tore up, even Haiti.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even Haiti getting tore up.
Well, and it is on the West Coast, so anything coming in from the West, from then Mexico and stuff like that, they're getting hit with that. So out here in the past, they've had Hurricane Dean. It was a Category 4 hurricane. Now, when Hurricane Dean came through, they thought it was going to be a hurricane, but it's diminished a little by the time it got to the DR and ended up being a tropical storm. Not to say it didn't do damage, because when it hit the DR, it actually did cause destruction and, unfortunately, the deaths of 5 people in Punta Cana along the Malecon in Santo Domingo. So a total of 5 people ended up happening dead, 4 in Punta Cana and 1 guy who they said was, I don't know why, but he was along the Malecon in Santo Domingo, so they all passed away. Then you had Noel and Olga, who were back to back. And because they were back to back, they caused the deaths of 73 people.
Oh my God.
And then they have 43 people that they didn't count in the death count because they are still missing to this day. And this happened like I think in 2008, that they never recovered the bodies of. And that was Villa Algracia. That's San Cristobal, so that's north. That's in the north, so the north coast. Olga also left 14 people here in Santiago dead because the dam back then was not prepared for the back-to-back. So they said Noel came and it caused damage with all the rain. They hadn't done whatever they needed to do to repair the dam. They thought they were going to get it under control. Then they got hit with Olga. Olga came. That's it. The dam bursted, and people that were very close to the dam were then flooded out and drowned and died. So 14 people in Santiago ended up dying.
Jesus.
They learned a valuable lesson from that. The mayor made it his priority back then to do things to the Tavera Dam to fix that so that never happens again.
Wow.
So, yeah, I mean, we're not immune. Like, yeah, that happened with the dam, but, you know, you got to look at when rain comes, when devastation comes.
Right, absolutely.
Where am I? How much has happened there? Can I take the loss? Again, renter's insurance. A lot of people forget about that. Maybe not living on the first floor or second floor if you're living near a beach. These are all things that you really need to consider when you're caught up in the love of, oh my gosh, I'm going to live on the coast and I'm going to be a beach bum and I'm going to live that life. There is other things to consider about your life and your property as well.
And I said the same exact thing. And even the depression, it was one storm that recently passed, and it hit Punta Cana, and it knocked out power.
Oh, yeah, the one before this, yeah.
One before this one.
Yeah,
so
that was a tropical storm, yeah.
So it seems like, and storms, we really don't know, the meteorologists or people that's really giving us the news, even the Weather Channel, they can just estimate or guesstimate, but the way the wind's blowing. Now, even right now, Laura and Maria is heading to Louisiana, and both of them, when they hit land, they pick up strength.
I thought it was Marco.
Marco?
Laura and Marco.
Or maybe it's Marco. I'm not really
sure.
sure.
I think it's a guy's name.
But either way, they're going to crisscross.
Oh, yeah. You told me that, yeah.
Like this, when they hit land. Category 2 storms. Both of them.
Where'd you hear that? You were watching something.
That was on the Weather Channel.
Ah, the Weather Channel.
I got that yesterday. So if this happens, 2 storms going this way, and both of them are Category 2 storms, it's gonna be major destruction. And then they're gonna put the flip and go right. And then they hope they both don't get together and go in the same direction.
But you know what cracks me up? So people will make sure that is one of the prime reasons a lot of people don't live in like Florida, right?
Right.
But they'll come out here and they'll live right along the coast and they give no regard or even thought to the same thing could happen here.
Right.
That's
absolutely.
crazy to me.
Absolutely.
That's
absolutely.
crazy.
So this subject here opens up your imagination, and we're not trying to frighten you or scare you. We just want to let you know
because we were fine.
Yeah, we were fine.
Watch the video if you don't believe me. You did.
We did the videos
all day. You did it
all
every
day.
Few hours.
I did one 4 o'clock in the morning. But we want you guys to be aware that when you live close and you invest in your property close to the beach,
right?
Just remember, those riptides ain't no joke. Anything could happen, and I hope to God that you guys got insurance.
Right. And if you definitely want to live there, consider renter's insurance. Always have homeowner's insurance if you're purchasing. And like I said, you may want to purchase and or rent higher than you would have thought. A, you get a beautiful view. I think you get a better view.
Absolutely.
And B, you're away from any possible flooding.
And another thing I don't remember, I want you, the guys, to hold on that you remember. Always have an escape plan.
Yes.
Always have a backup.
Shelters.
Don't just sit there and board your windows up, or just sit there and say, this ain't gonna be nothing. Because the people that went through a hurricane in Houston, okay, when Hurricane Maria hit Puerto Rico, they did all the boarding up they can do. But I'm gonna say this is a Category 3, 4 storm that just tore up and ripped up a lot of stuff that's still tore up today.
Yeah. And that's another thing. I'm glad you brought that up because I totally forgot about that. When you're here, you want to know where the shelters in place are in the DR, because I know a lot of people, we've had a few viewers that have come and said, I want to be so isolated. I want to be like up in the mountains away from everybody. Okay, but remember that if you need to get to a shelter, how long is that going to take you in adverse weather conditions? You need to be mindful of that.
And there's also mudslides here at certain elevations, okay? And trees do fall in the middle of the road. So while you're trying to find and gotta leave your house for some reason, and don't forget that there could be a tree in your way or anything. Take care of yourself. Make sure you got an escape plan so you keep you and your family and even your pets safe. It's very important.
Yeah, and the last storm, the man that died, it was him and his horse, because he went to ride his horse the next day after the storm, and he saw a down power line and proceeded, and it electrocuted him and the horse. So remember that down power lines do not mean off power lines. So
we just wanted to hit you guys up with that and just let you guys know so you be aware of it.
Yes.
Please don't let this video be a deterrent for you to come live Tropical Island. We're just really at a good spot right now. We want to get to the beach. When they put that, especially when they put that new freeway in.
Oh, yeah.
It's only 25 minutes to a half an hour away from us, and we can get there, enjoy the beach, and still enjoy everything else, and come back and not have to be concerned about being too close to the ocean.
Amen.
So, in the meantime, between the time, always remember, life is to be enjoyed.
Yes, make sure to hit subscribe if you have not. And all of our new subscribers, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for subscribing. Make sure to hit notifications so you can be notified when we have this and some priceless gems dropped. And always make sure, hit that like for us. It's the easiest, fastest way to patron our channel. All information is always underneath the channel as usual. And remember, we're here for you.
Until the next video, peace.
It has been reported that 4 people have died. Unfortunately, 3 died in Santo Domingo, Providence, and a 4th on the Haitian border. It was a border patrolman. Also, Ede Norte, Ede Sur, Ede Este have all reported, that's our electric company out here, that because of the electrical wiring, and it's so faulty because it hangs down so low in the streets. If any of you have been here, it's been very affected by winds and by rain. The electric company out here stated on Sunday they had to declare a state of emergency because the South Coast, meaning Santo Domingo had over 900,000 people without power, and the south coastal areas. The east coast, which includes Punta Cana, had over 435,000 without power, and the north coast had over 93,000 people without power. This is why a backup generator is so important when you move out here. We had 2 viewers here in Santiago through the storm that we met with on Monday. They had no disturbance in service, including us if you saw our video. So remember, backup generators.